Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, it's Alex. It's the Ramble from the least infected city in the United States, and we're here until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. Ladies and gentlemen from lovely downtown Boulder, Nevada. Boulder City, Nevada.
There you go.
Well, I fucked that one up. From lovely downtown Boulder City, Nevada, it's the music of Steve Kravitz and his orchestra. And
He's here.
Steve strikes up the band with this little number. Go ahead.
Crowd goes wild.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well. Have you been outside since the last time we talked?
I was out yesterday. I took an hour walk.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Mask, gloves, hat, everything?
Mask, gloves, hat. Yeah, I have here my mask, my little mask here. There we go. Here.
Very nice.
Here, just so I don't get anything from you, okay?
Yeah.
Because Nevada's got a problem now, right?
Yeah, but it's still not in the top 5.
It's not. No, it's not in the top 5. You know what is really wonderful is that New York State and New York City in particular were the most. This was the most infected city in America at one time. Now it is the least infected city in America. Right. Sunday, the mayor said there were 0 deaths in New York City.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's because everybody's following protocol.
There were 10 in the rest of the state because we had an outbreak upstate that was caused by somebody going to a wedding from another state. And it caused a cluster of situations, but not deaths, but situations.
Did I tell you I'm moving back to Massachusetts?
Yes, you told me that.
I have to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that's as it should be.
Right.
You know, I mean, we know you probably haven't been out, and you've been taking care of yourself, and you haven't been commingling with anybody, but nevertheless, you know, they don't know that.
Right.
You know, so
right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know.
No.
You've gotten used to staying indoors anyway.
Yes, I have.
And it's not like you're traveling there for a vacation, and that if you spend 2 weeks quarantined, that's pretty much your vacation.
Right.
You know.
Right. So I'm moving back to Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah, which is spelled Worcester.
Yes, well,
yeah.
It's actually pronounced Worcester.
Worcester.
Right, Worcester.
Yeah.
Like in Worcester, it's not Donna Summers, it's Donna Summer.
I see. Okay. That now, you're the second person I know from Worcester.
Who's the other one?
Abby Hoffman.
Oh, that's right.
It's from Worcester, Massachusetts. And,
sure is.
And wasn't there like some big Civil War thing or Revolutionary War thing that happened in Worcester?
Not that I know.
Not that you know of. Okay, I just thought there was some kind of,
I didn't do well in U.S. history.
Right. So anyway, you're going back, and you still have family back there.
Yes.
What?
And I have friends I went to high school with.
Oh, okay. What are you going back for? The relatives or the friends?
Well.
Oh, okay. Because you're talking to the relatives, okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm talking to the friends.
Yeah, because usually, you know, when I talk to people about their family, they say, I got a sister, but I haven't talked to her in 20 years. You know.
Well, I haven't talked to my dad in 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he back there?
He's in Virginia.
He's in Virginia, so you don't have to put up with him in Worcester.
No.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't talked to my brothers either.
Really? What's wrong with your dad?
He's an asshole.
I guess I would agree with you. I wouldn't have said that because it's your father, But now that you said that,
You can agree.
I can agree. Yeah, he's an asshole. Well, I mean, how
Yeah.
do you know, I mean, I haven't had any kids. And neither of you, by the way.
No.
Right?
No.
None that I, can send a card to. All right?
Right. None that I know of.
Yeah. But you don't have any children. But if I had children, I can't imagine not having anything to do with them. I mean,
Right.
I can imagine them being real assholes and not having anything to do with me,
Right.
in which they would probably be correct in doing that. But, I mean, the fact is that I can't imagine that I wouldn't try to have a relationship with my kids.
No, the problem was my mom passed away, and my dad got remarried, and he moved her into our home. And what he should have done is sold the house and bought a new home that was fresh for both of them and the whole family. He's estranged from everybody in the family.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do in that kind of situation if I had a wife who died and then I remarried. Would I move them into the same house? I don't think they would want to move into the same house.
Right, right. That was my mom's house.
Well, why was it your mom's house?
Because, she was, until we all went to school, she was a living mom, a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
So, she was all over that house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Also the kitchen.
I would just think that the newly married wife wouldn't want to move in there.
Right,
You know?
right, you would think.
Yeah.
But my dad and his new wife have more money than God, and yet they're cheaper than you can imagine.
Well, wait a minute. You say, and his new wife. Now, how long has he been married to her?
Longer than he was married to my mom.
Oh, okay. So it's not really his new wife; it's his second wife.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
And they have a daughter that he has kept away from us all these years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. She's out on her own now. They bought her a house for graduation. They bought her a house. You know what I got from graduation? I left for California.
Oh boy. Oh boy. How'd you get to California? Why'd you go to California?
Well, I came back from France.
Mm-hmm. You were, by the way, you were a mime in France.
There's a lot of different mimes. It's actually memes
Yeah.
in French. And there's different kind of memes. There's mask mimes, there's corporeal mimes, there's pantomime. And what you're thinking of is pantomime.
Yeah.
And I studied the other two. But when I performed on the weekends at the Pompidou Center, I would do pantomime.
Yeah. So would you put the white face on and
Oh, yeah.
and pretend
The
like
whole
you were
deal.
trying to get out of a box?
Every day.
Can you do
full
that thing?
row.
Could you just do that thing for us of trying to get out of the box?
My skills are sharp.
That's the one thing I hated most about mimes was that bit. You know,
And they all do it.
they all do it. Yeah,
But you're playing for the tourists. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're not doing it because you love it. You're doing it to, so you can eat that day.
Well, I interviewed Marcel Marceau.
Did you really? He had nothing to say.
No, really, he was very talkative. I still have the interview. I played it occasionally on this little network.
Really?
Yeah, I liked him a lot. Yeah.
I met him when I was at University of Massachusetts.
Was it a thrill for you? Because I mean, come on, he was really good at that.
Oh, yeah. It was a big thrill.
Yeah,
That's how I ended up going to Paris.
yeah. Do you remember the silent movie that Mel Brooks made?
Right, and Marceau had the only line in it. He said no.
No.
That was it.
The only speaking line in the whole picture was done by Marcel Marceau in the complete mime costume of Bip, which was his.
Oh, yeah.
Which was his lovable character.
He was really good at it.
He was good at it, and everybody else emulated him. And
Well,
yeah.
his teacher was Etienne Decroux. And
Huh?
Etienne Decroux hated pantomime.
Who hated pantomime?
Etienne Decroux.
Who's Etienne Decroux?
He is the master of corporeal mime.
Now, what's corporeal mime?
It's based on triple designs, Rodin sculptures, and isolation of different parts of your body. And your face is covered.
Yeah.
Covered with like a hood. Completely your face is
So
gone.
you're not using your face as part of the mime.
That's right.
Maybe you're using your head, but you're not using your face.
That's right.
And so what do you do with the rest of your body? Try to get out of the box?
No, there's no box. There's no box.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was a long, long time ago, my friend.
Okay, so if you did corporeal mime, let's say you were to do corporeal mime. I'm not going to ask you to do it because you don't have a hood on.
Right.
What kind of things do you do? What kind of...
Well, it's like, look, it's a rotation, it's an inclination, and then a turn.
Uh-huh.
So you can do your head, you do your torso, you do your stomach area, and then you do your legs.
Is that kind of like the robot thing that people do?
No, not really. Why I did it is I wanted to learn, because as doing stand-up, your body is your tool, as well as your words. So I wanted to have that capacity over my body when I perform. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So when I started doing stand-up, I had no idea what stand-up was, but I had stage presence. I knew the stage.
Right.
So that's how I got started, at the Holy City Zoo.
Okay. All right. All right. And so you felt that you then were able to use your Paris training
Right.
in your comedy.
Right. And I went to 2 schools in Paris at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were opposed to each other. So if one school found out I was going to the other school, I would have been kicked out of both schools. So I could have no friends. I couldn't talk to anybody.
Well, you didn't know how to speak French anyway. So, what the hell.
I never learned. 2 years I was there. I never learned. I learned basically, give me that and how much is it?
Right.
But when I first got there, if I couldn't point to it, I couldn't have it.
Well, I found when in foreign languages, when I've been like in Spain and France and so on, when I want something, I would go in and I would look at the donuts, for instance, or the croissants. And I would go,
right.
That's all you had to do. I mean, really, your studying as a mime probably came in handy.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Because I could do little mime things to get where I was going,
Yeah.
Show me where the market is. I could push like a cart or something and pick things out.
Or if you're traveling around, you got a map with you, you go up to somebody, you point on the map, and they go
right
there,
And I'm sure I got ripped off because when I first got there, they would tell me how much it was, and I would just hand them all my money and say,
yeah, here,
yeah.
because you didn't know what the money was anyway.
No. And there it's different sized bills too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did like about European money, is the different size bills. That makes sense.
In different colors.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Because then you don't, in different colors, and so when you pull out the money, you immediately know what you've got.
Right.
Now, and people go, well, geez, and the people come to the United States and they go, this is ridiculous. All the bills look alike.
Right.
And yet our coins are all different sizes. Yet I could never understand why the penny was bigger than the dime and the dime was smaller than the nickel. And, it should have gone, penny should have been the size of a dime.
Right.
Nickel
should have been the size.
It should be the size of a penny.
Right.
And then a dime should be the size of a nickel.
That's right.
And then everything else gets bigger. Then the quarter gets bigger, and the half dollar gets bigger, and the silver dollar gets bigger.
Right. The silver dollar, but the other dollars we've put out haven't been successful.
Do you still get silver dollars and change in Nevada?
No.
Because when I lived in Nevada, you got silver dollars all the time. And I would have a pocket full of silver dollars. And my pants were ripping. The pockets were ripping because the weight of the silver dollars. What the hell? Hey, listen, I'm looking at the clock and it's starting to run out of time. So
I'm ready.
tell us, where are you playing?
At home.
How are you
Come on by.
How are you keeping your comedy going? Do you stand in front of that mirror in back of you and do shtick and do bits and?
No,
Nah.
I need an audience.
Yeah, I asked Bubs what he was doing to keep his, his chops up. He says occasionally he might go in front of a mirror and do some stuff. You know.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no place. He said he did a comedy show and it was a safe comedy show, and nobody was very good because they were all out of practice.
Right.
You know,
right.
your timing goes to shit when you're not working. Hey,
Right.
listen.
And, go ahead.
We've run out of time.
Already.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say where you're playing, but you're not. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Stephen Kravitz. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Alex.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yes, it's so nice. Hey, thank you to Steve Kravitz for having joined us this evening on our little show, whatever it is. We're ready to open up our Zoom lines. If you don't know how to get on Zoom here, just go to gabnet.net. Down on the right-hand side towards the bottom, there's a thing that says click here to join our Zoom panel. You can click on that, or you can click on it on my Facebook page, or just right below here if you're looking on YouTube. It'll say during the program you can Zoom us at, and then you just click on that. You don't have to have Zoom installed in your machine at all. That's not important. What is important is that you call us, and we always like new people, and we always go very easy on new people. So if you call us, we'll be happy to talk to you. All right? And you just click on that, and it's that simple. I mean, it should be that simple. Some people have a problem occasionally. But then again, some people, it wouldn't be the worst idea if you did something about putting Zoom on your machine. It doesn't cost you anything, and it would just make it easier all the way around. But anyway, we do have a caller here. Hold on a second. Let me just make my transition to the Zoom panel. There's Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Alex.
How you doing? You're in Texas, boy. You got You got problems up the ass in Texas right now.
Yep, another new record today.
What?
Every other day.
What was the record today?
10,725.
Oh wow! Now that's new cases, right?
That's new cases.
Because today we went up a little bit, but we only have 850 people total in the state in hospitals with COVID. Those aren't the new admissions. It's total admissions. However, we only had 5 deaths. And how many cases? I think we got up to 1.5% of the people tested had it. And we're worried, that we're going to get an infection coming here because of the people from out of state coming in and not... what do you call it, quarantining themselves. Like if Rob came up to see his relatives here in New York City, he would have to be quarantined, right, Rob?
I'm supposed to go next weekend, not this weekend. Next weekend.
Yeah, well, however, you probably won't have a problem because you're driving, right?
Yeah.
If you came in through the airport, they actually have you sign something.
But my state is not one it's keeping.
It's not. It's not on the list.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's not on the quarantine.
No, Virginia is doing very well.
Because everybody, you can understand our fear here, because we did everything we could to clean this whole place up, and we did. We did a wonderful job of it, and we just don't want it to get cruddy again, I mean, what we did was, I think, nothing short of amazing. But we, it so easily could go jumping back up. And our governor is worried about people who come in from out of state, and also people here in New York who are just not abiding by the rules. You know, wearing the mask, not getting together in groups, social distancing. I'm sure if you're with somebody you live with, you don't have to social distance, but social distancing from other people. And I went past a bar the other night, and they were serving drinks inside with people butt to butt with each other.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of calling up the authorities and turning them in, because they can lose their liquor license for that. You know, and they were being allowed to serve people outdoors. I mean, they were just getting too terribly greedy about it. And there were a whole bunch of people congregated outside without social distancing, without masks. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's going to put us back in trouble again.
Yeah.
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 Can't argue with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, every other state should probably look at what we did and try to do what we did, take the scientific approach to this. But they're just going, oh my God, now we've got to do the testing. Well, it's good, do the testing, but you have to do the science of testing, not just do the testing.
Yeah.
And then you have to abide by what that testing shows you. And, you know, if you see it going up and up and up, then you do something to bring it down, 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 and you more measures to shut things down and close things down. And I know it's horrible and nobody wants to do it. And, you know, but then I hear people going, well, I own this gym, and if I can't reopen, I'm going to have to go out of business. Well, if you reopen, you're going to kill people.
And then you go out of business.
And then you'll go out of business. So take your choice, you know? I mean, is it lives versus capitalism? You know.
Texas.
And the fact is, somebody was mentioning to me the other day that we don't really have capitalism in this country. What we have is corporatism.
Yeah.
You know, capitalism is one thing. Corporatism is just pure greed. You know, and it's the corporatism that is making us want to get back in the game. Oh, we can't have people, you know, running out on us here. We have to open up all the businesses. We have to get people back to work. We have to kill people. Yes, Phil.
They never really closed the big corporate businesses. They closed the little guy, the restaurant, the gym, but not the big corporate businesses.
Wait a minute.
Walmart.
Those aren't big corporate businesses, to be honest with you.
Are you kidding?
No, you're talking about big corporate businesses. IBM doesn't have their offices open.
Yeah, but they're doing business.
They're doing business, but they're
And
doing it like you're doing it at home.
You don't have to have your corporate offices. My brother's company didn't shut down.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the big companies shut down. They figured out a way to muddle through until they were able to get people the access they needed. That's why Zoom made a killing.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's more small restaurant, you know, individual owned restaurants and stuff, and corporate. You know, if you're running a corporate gym, yeah, you were closed down.
Well, let's be honest about it. The people who own the restaurants and stuff, these are places where it can spread the most because they're indoors.
Absolutely.
They're indoors,
and you're breathing, and you're.
Yeah.
What is that doing?
You know, the gym across the street from where I live, they set up all these outdoor tents to be able to have classes and so forth, so that when they were supposed to open, they would be able to have some sort of stuff that was outdoors. But they had these.
Yeah, but you mean you don't mean a full tent? You mean like
no?
Okay, covering. I was going to say a tent's the same thing as being indoors.
Yeah, I understand.
And
So they, so they set up all those things, but they recently reneged on letting them open in this state, in California, and they're going to remain closed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's a question of, look, what happened was California opened up too fast and too soon, and when it did that, you have the problem you have now. If they had opened up more wisely, it might not have been the same problem. Okay, but since that has happened, they've got to back off. You know, that's the only way you're going to stop it. You're not going to stop it by keeping everything open.
Well, if you have a rise in infections and you think that it's going to overwhelm the health system, then you lock it down again.
Yeah.
And there are areas of the country, like in Texas, not all of Texas, but Austin and Houston, these places need to be locked down because and Miami and
California's had a huge spike.
I don't know that all of California needs to be locked down, but certainly Los Angeles and maybe
Well,
San
here's what our governor did when he reopened. He had a phased reopening. You had different phases, and he opened up upstate before he ever opened up New York City. New York City was the last thing to be opened up because it was the most infectious.
Still not phase 4,
No.
right?
I think we're phase 3 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Long Island is phase 4.
No, Long Island's phase 4. Upstate is pretty much open, but some of it may be closed down soon because there was a case upstate in which somebody came from out of state, went to some party that they were holding, okay, and spread it to everybody, to a whole bunch of people. So that's the problem there, right? You know.
Now Marin is going through a hotspot thing, but most of these cases are from San Quentin, and what they did was they moved some inmates from another prison near Sacramento. Chino, was it Chino?
Chino.
They moved them to San Quentin, and now I don't know how many people in San Quentin have died. There's a lot of cases, and then they've had several deaths, and that has caused Marin's spike. But it's really the hot spot is San Quentin.
Well,
right,
I would say probably there's a good chance that the hot spot is San Quentin. But nevertheless, we also have to think about what we're going to do with our prisons because, you know, we are such a litigious country when it comes to throwing people in prisons. We love throwing people in prisons. That we have not said, hey, you know, some people shouldn't go to prison. Some people should be put on parole or their whole home, be at home, stuck at home, or whatever. But, you know, they're not dangerous criminals. But we put so many people behind bars that in a place like San Quentin, I don't know if you've seen the facilities over there, they have people living in gyms and all kinds of different places because it is so packed tight with people. So, you know, do we really want that? And do we want that kind of situation? California, a few years ago, depopulated some of the prisons because they couldn't afford to keep that many people in prison. And there were a lot of people who were, you know, people who were selling marijuana who wound up in prison, you know, people who were not really dangerous criminals.
Those guys didn't wind up in San Quentin.
Well, no, but they wound up in prisons.
They
wound up in prisons, Phil. You remember, people went away for like 5-10 years for selling pot.
I had a buddy in New York back in the 60s that was arrested and went to Attica for 8 years for a pound of pot.
Yeah.
Pound is a lot of
8
pot.
years?
Well, no, it isn't a large amount of pot if you just don't want to run out.
I don't know if he was using it all for personal consumption, but he was into the marijuana lifestyle.
Well, you know, it's kind of terrible that people were being, you know, spend so much time in jail for that. And now today, if they did the same thing, they wouldn't wind up in jail. You know, they'd wind up having a store.
Yeah.
You know.
And the stores weren't closed. They were considered essential, the marijuana stores, because it was medical marijuana.
People with cancer,
They are essential.
I think liquor stores are essential, they say.
Yeah, they are.
Now, I don't know why they're essential, but I think it's essential to keep people from getting the DTs or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Abortion clinics.
Be with 3 kids all week. You'll need a drink.
Well, abortions are a medical procedure, Phil, and so therefore they would be considered necessary. You may not consider them necessary. I do. You know, if people don't want to have children, then they have the right to do that.
Yeah, wear a condom.
No, or get an abortion if it happens by accident. You know, don't use abortion as a form of birth control, mind you. You know, that's going a little too far. You could just, you know, take a pill, take a condom, do whatever, you know. But listen, we can't even get people to wear masks, so how are we going to get them to wear condoms?
Yeah, you're asking for a lot.
Yeah. Although today I took a walk and I found more people wearing masks than I have seen before. And I think they're getting the message, you know, that everything's fine. Coast is clear in a lot of ways, but let's not screw it up.
Hey, Tony, are you a little pissed off that you had your teeth fixed now that you can just wear a mask?
I owe $200 still, so I got it. They've been closed. I want to pay them off. I know. They're pretty much straight.
I got a new mask, by the way.
Are you gonna know? I got a Charlie Brown one.
I got a new one.
Tony, you're in the kitchen?
And
You're in the kitchen
I
tonight?
thought in the beginning they were a little uncomfortable.
So I can't go in the living room.
Let me try putting this on without my earphones on here.
watching TV.
First of all, here we go. First, I take this and I put it here,
That looks kinda,
and then it's got a clasp in the back.
Oh, that's a serious
here,
mask.
so I can
Yeah.
take it up.
You're ready to loot.
It's like a
Doesn't
Hannibal
that
Lecter
look
mask.
cool, huh? Am I?
Yeah.
And it was. I took a walk with this today, and it was a lot easier to breathe in.
I was gonna say, is that one of those breathable ones?
Yeah, it's got these holes here with the
Does it
with a
feel
filter.
better?
You know,
Yeah,
when I
much
go to
better.
Kaiser, if I wear one of those N95s with the vent,
Yeah.
they give you another one of those
Come on, Alex.
to put over it.
Oh,
Because they
Jesus.
said that it doesn't stop the spittle from me going out, but it will stop from them coming in. So,
Really?
yeah, they make me put something over. Oh, look at
Well, what kind of
Alex,
mask? What kind of
I
mask?
found the
are you using?
picture.
Maybe
I saw
this
Tony
picture
Soros will
online.
give us the mask.
Is
What?
that a G-string?
That's your other mask.
That's my other mask. Yeah, yeah.
All you got to do is say, hello, Clarice.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's the N95 with a vent.
With a
Because
vent.
it's got a check
So
valve.
at Kaiser, they give me the surgical mask, and they wanted to put it right over it, and I'll just.
Yeah, because it's got a one-way check valve that lets
Right.
stuff in, but it doesn't let it out.
Right.
Those N95s
That's
are
what,
pretty. Hold on a
that on.
second. Now I'm all
It's
tangled.
got a
up
diaphragm
here.
that goes
Hold on.
one way.
Right. So
Come
my
here,
diaphragm
come here,
will
come
go
here.
out, but not in, right?
Correct. It'll
how
go
many-
the other way.
The trouble with those masks with the N95s is that even with the vent, they're very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
They're
Alex,
quite
I-
uncomfortable,
I-
and they're not really necessary. They're not going to protect you much more than a regular surgical mask.
here.
Yeah.
My brother bought them on eBay. It's horrible. I can't even wear them. I feel like I'm going to suffocate.
I want to get a Trump mask with the presidential seal. I wonder if they're going to have them on his website.
Vistaprint.
Ask Chuck Woolery. He'll send you one.
Yeah.
Sell them.
Yeah.
He'll blow your kids too.
Call-
Maybe
call-
maybe
fucking
people
idiot.
buy 'em and wear masks.
Call his new Surgeon General, Chuck Woolery.
Alex, can you believe this? Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy was dead already.
$50 each.
Dude, he was dead. You're right. I didn't even know he was alive still.
Who, Chuck
Tony,
Woolery?
your speaker's
sell 'em,
muffled.
Kevin,
Speaker's
they sell,
muffled,
they
Tony.
sell the mask?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Just go to
Oh, I thought you said
store.
$50 each.
They probably do, and they probably will be $50 each.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it were a mask where it just made you look like Donald Trump.
They have that where it's got his mouth kind of scrunched up
Oh,
like
that.
this, and then it says something on the sides. Have you seen that?
Yeah, something like Trump sucks.
Fuck Trump. I can get one.
I want
Is
to.
anybody
what?
able to drive from one state to another?
I haven't tried.
Well, Rob's going to do that soon, but he is in a state that is not on the quarantine list.
Right.
I won't even drive from one apartment complex to another.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not nuts about it, but I do want to go see my mom. So
Well, I think you're going to find it pretty safe. As a matter of fact, I'm almost thinking about trying a Subway soon, because Marjorie took a Subway the other day and said she's never seen it cleaner.
Yeah.
Now, clean Subway? I never heard those two words in the same breath. You know,
People go back to work.
what?
And when people go back to work in New York and the subways are more crowded, I understand they're going to put more cars on and run more trains.
Yeah.
But they've been shutting down the subways for like 4 hours in the middle of the night
Yeah.
to clean everything right now.
Yeah.
That's why they're sparkling clean.
Oh, I thought that was to oust the homeless.
No. I mean, that was one of the things it did, and they made provisions for them to be someplace. They had places for them to go.
New Jersey.
You know, and as our governor said, he said it's terrible that someone would think that he has to sleep on a subway in order to get a good place to sleep. You know, and that we just have to make them realize that hey, there are other facilities available. You know, so.
A lot of them don't want those places. They get robbed. They get beat up. They'd rather be on their own.
Well, you know, also a lot of them are not mentally right.
Well, there's that.
You know, and they should be someplace that's going to watch over them. I mean, granted, you're right, but I think those were the old places you're thinking of. I think what they were doing was they were trying to actually have safe places for them to go. But they had to push them out of there because people had to go in there and clean.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't mean they don't go down there during the day and do some sleeping or whatever. But I think they're not used to it anymore, so that's not as big a problem. But you know, I mean, we have just had this has really been something all the way around, and it's really very I have been getting very depressed, and I'm always lightheaded and tired, and you know, I've finally pushed myself to go out and take a walk every day, which is helping a little bit. Helping a little bit.
Time like Alex a little bit.
But I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, you know, as I always am when I first wake up, but I stay that way all day, you know, because there's nothing to look forward to, you know. I can't get on a subway and go down to Apple and buy a new mouse. Like I bought a new mouse online the other day, but under normal conditions, I would have just said, I'll get on the subway and go down to the Apple store and buy it, you know, and I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that.
You should have saved all the Apple bags from your previous purchases, and then you could have put it in the bag and walked around with it a little bit.
Yeah, it would have made me feel good. Yeah.
Is the Apple store open again?
No, none of them.
Is.
In California, I think they opened up a few of them, and then they closed them right back down again.
I went by. I didn't go in, but I drove by it yesterday, and it looked open, and people were in there.
Well, I think they'll probably, if you drive by it now, it'll be closed.
Yeah, I was going to go to the Monterey one, and I think they shut it down again.
Yeah. So, you know, and plus, it is a, you know, you're just simply doing indoor purchases. You're not hanging around and taking a class, or I imagine you can't go to the Genius bar.
I don't know.
You know, because if they're geniuses, they'll know well enough to stay home. You know, so. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
All right, how are you?
Oh, okay, Kevin. How's your leg doing?
Good.
Good?
Doing fine.
So you're healing. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they have to stitch that thing up?
12 of them.
Oh, God.
That's right.
I've never had stitches for anything. I think maybe I had stitches. No, nothing, you know. You turn yourself sideways there. There you go, Ray.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey.
There you go. There's Ray Renati, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Well, we'll find out if planes are clean because I'm going to go get my nose stuffed on Thursday. And if I come out positive, then we'll know that the planes aren't clean.
Oh, because you took a plane.
Yeah, I took a plane last week.
Okay, so you wanted to see if it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I don't see how they can filter on a plane. You know, people get sick just from yeah, I mean, it recirculates.
Yeah.
Well, there are filters.
They say they're really, really hefty filters, and there's a ridiculous amount of times per hour that the air is completely circulated out.
Yeah.
In clean rooms we have those HEPA filters, but also for clean rooms, they also grab air from the floor too. So they circulate all that air. So in clean rooms, there's a huge volume of air.
Supposedly,
going through those
there
filters. They come all the
there
time.
is a filter that the governor is recommending that he's going to ask malls to install and restaurants to install if they can do it. If they can't do it, they can't reopen. Called MERV 15s, and these things will filter out COVID. In other words, they recirculate the air, they suck it in from the room, goes through the filter, and comes out without any COVID in it.
So what do they do?
All those filters are just mesh. So
Yeah.
those mesh that those have on those filters are smaller, so they only allow certain size particles through.
Yeah.
But when you
That's
go
they're,
to change,
they're stuffing them down the hallways of the hospitals too.
when you go to change those filters, then you've got all these virus in the filter.
No, you
can
don't.
it live that long?
I
or-
don't think you have.
No, it doesn't stay on the surface.
It doesn't stay on the surface, and I think they probably have an antibacterial agent in there, or an antiviral agent as well. The governor has said, look, I don't know if this is the answer, but it certainly is better than nothing, and that it may be a way that we can have people go back to malls. But, malls are in trouble. I saw a story the other day about this. The malls are in trouble because the movie theaters are closed. And the movie theaters are going out of business. I mean, AMC, I think, is packing up and going away. And these malls all depended on those movie theaters as being the drawing factor to the mall.
They also depended on the Macy's and the JCPenney.
Which those are dying.
Sears.
Yeah, those are gone.
Sears is bankrupt. I've always had my eye on. There's a mall in Concord, and the Sears had this standalone automotive area, and I thought it would make a good floor covering store. I don't know if I could afford the rent.
Ray's got his hand up. Yes, Ray.
I just want to see how your temperature is doing.
My temperature.
I got a
Yeah.
What do you mean? How much
Did you get your new thermometer?
Oh, I got one. You got it?
What do you mean my new thermometer? I have my old thermometers.
You didn't get a thermometer?
No. Why?
Oh crap!
Did you
I
send?
sent you a thermometer.
Look what I've got.
Is it a rectal?
Look what I've got.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
such
rectal
a.
thermometer.
Hold on a second.
Rectal.
I am such a hypochondriac.
Probably went to apartment L and not I.
Where's that? Okay.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Anyway.
Tony, your
Let me,
speaker
just
is
show you what
really
I
muffled.
have. First of all,
Can you hear me?
I have my
Really low.
old thermometer. Okay, wait a minute. Let me put this back on so I can hear
Oh
you.
man, I'm gonna complain.
I have the old thermometer. Okay.
Yeah.
This one is. Let's see here. This is. Let me put it in. It's very fast. I love it because it's fast.
I have
That
the
was
same
rectal.
thermometer from CVS, and it always reads low.
Mm-hmm.
How can it have a 92 point something or other?
One of your neighbors has your thermometer.
Oh, 98.4. That's high for me today. But this one sometimes reads differently. This is another CVS. Okay. Let me see here.
I think Marjorie's using it, right?
What?
I think Marjorie's got it.
Actually, it was a joke. It was a joke thermometer. It was actually a meat thermometer.
This is
labeled
98,
package.
98.4 as well. Wow. I guess because I'm in a room that's kind of hot. All right.
Oh,
And then I've got this.
Turn it on until you stick it in your mouth.
This
right?
is Celsius. Okay. And then ultimately I got this.
I got that one too. Yeah, it's good.
95.2.
Don't do it, Alex. Don't do it.
95.2.
Yeah, they zapped me in there while you were with that sucker.
Yeah, 95.4. I see these things.
I went to Kaiser the other day to pick something up at the pharmacy, and before they'd let me in, they used a similar thing to what you held up to your forehead, Alex.
Yeah, that's
And
what they
because
do.
I was waiting in the sun, they had you wait 6 feet apart.
Nah,
I was-
98.8.
Yeah. So by waiting in the sun, I went in there. I was like 102, and so they said, "Well, sit down and let it cool off," and it went down to normal.
Wow. Okay.
COVID test.
Now I'm worried because I got my temperature's high.
That's the first sign, temperature.
Yeah.
What's normal? 98.6.
98.6.
Well, now this one's 98.2. That one was 98.8. So let me try this one more time. 98.2. I was drinking some tea here, and it's still warm.
This is exciting stuff. I mean, really.
Yeah, I agree.
You started it.
I
You
know.
started it, right?
Actually, I'm not kidding. I actually like it. It is funny.
98.1. See, this one keeps going down. So, and this one's always the high one. I don't know why it.
Oh God.
Let me see here. This is 98.4 now. So anyway, I'm low enough. I'm not dying. And haven't got the COVID. I don't think, you know. So anyway, that's what I do for my temperature. So you sent me a thermometer?
I did. It was a really good one. It was a rectal thermometer.
Oh, it's a rectal. By the way,
Yeah.
that one I have there, the newest CVS I have, is a rectal thermometer, as well as a oral thermometer, as well as an armpit thermometer. It has 3 tips you can put on.
Yeah.
And it knows
You
which
better
tip.
check with Marjorie. Make sure she's only been using it in her mouth.
Yeah,
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
That would be horrible.
Well, no,
Oh,
the rectal tip is different than the.
Okay.
Although they say the rectal thermometer is the most accurate.
Most accurate. Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
That rumor was started by some gay guy.
I don't like a fleet enema. I'm certainly not going to want a thermometer up there.
I've gotten so used to the fleet enema because of all the times I had to use it. Like before, I would go in every day for my my little procedure.
You use it every
radiation.
day?
Every day I had to do it for the radiation. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have to clear the bowel for the radiation, and I've been having problems. I get up at 4 this morning, took 2 Docalax last night, and I've had a tough time. They pulled me off the table the other day, Friday, because I was full of shit.
Well, we've been telling you that for the longest time,
You've
Phil.
been there before.
And they gave me a fleet enema. Well, they gave me the thing to go use, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I just never. You know what it was with the fleet? What are we talking fleet enemas for? Forget it. I was going to say it's just the problem is you don't know how much you're supposed. You squeeze it, right? And you don't know if you're putting enough up there.
It doesn't take that much.
No. But anyway, so I got a what do you call it? What's the thing you all told me I should go out and buy?
Oh, an air filter.
Air purifier.
Oh, you finally got one.
Which one
Yeah,
you
but
get?
it's good for about. It has a picture. No, it says 275 feet or something. But it has a picture diagonally across a room, and I'm thinking, well, my room is that way, but square feet, it's 500.
Put it in the corner, I think is what they mean.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know, but I'm going to see if it works. It's a cheap one. It's like $99, and if it doesn't work, but it does some kind of relief or keeps dust out of the room, I may go out and spend $200 and get the big one.
Or get 2 of them.
Does that have a filter?
Huh?
It has a filter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
HEPA filter.
Are these like HEPA filters? Is that what they are?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can see if it's getting dirty then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one I got from Sharper Image has these metal. It's not a filter. It's like a collection thing.
It's
a-
it's
the
like
ionic-
electromagnetic. Yeah,
ionic
the
one.
ionic.
Oh,
that's
by the
right.
way, the other day I had an Apple mouse go out on me. It's going bad. So I decided I better. In fact, I was on with Kevin, right, Kevin? And I was having trouble with my mouse. So I immediately, while I was talking with Kevin and Josh and the 3 of us, I went online and I ordered a new mouse. I did this at about 11 o'clock at night. Damn thing came here at by 8 o'clock the next day.
Oh.
You know, it's like they must have walked it over from the store.
Do they bring it up to your door now, or do they just leave it in the lobby?
It came to my door, yeah. I think it came to my
Ask them if they have your thermometer.
Well, who knows? It may be down there. I didn't go down and look at the mail.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, it'd probably go in the mailbox because it's small, you know. But is there a reason why you sent me a rectal thermometer? Is that supposed to say something to me?
Because I was looking at it. It's a joke. Well, I don't want to give it. I gave it away now. It's a meat thermometer packaged as a rectal thermometer.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Can't they get in trouble for that? Because
I don't know.
people
It
might
looks
stick
funny.
the meat thermometer up their ass.
It was like $5. I know. That's what I was thinking. Someone could actually do it.
Isn't
That would
this?
be a
Wait a minute, I saw
disaster.
something like that somewhere where it says something on there, like it's, you know. Well, anyway.
Yeah. So just get sued.
Yeah.
Now, did Trump recommend that you use a meat thermometer?
Probably.
After you inject yourself with
Because
with
you know
Clorox.
we were all enamored of his medical degree that makes him better than Dr. Fauci. You know.
Woolery suggested it.
Yeah.
Speaking of ass insertions, did anybody see the press conference today?
I saw a little bit of it, and then I started throwing up in my mouth,
Holy
and
shit, what a
yeah.
fiasco.
Yeah. You know, here's what I didn't like about it. Well, there are a lot of things I didn't like about it, but the thing that I basically didn't like about it was the fact that he held it as a press conference. Now, when you hold a press conference as president, you're probably going to make some kind of policy statement, and then you're going to take some questions from the press and whatever. That isn't what he did. It was like, I don't know, what, a 2-hour speech or something in which he railed against everything?
They use them all as a tool.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, if he wants to give a speech, fine. You know, tell us you're going to give a speech. You're doing safe distancing, and you're going to give a speech, and you do it in the press conference room or whatever. But say it's a speech. Don't bill it as a press conference.
The Biden list was what, 45 minutes long?
Yeah.
The Biden shit list? My God, and he was making shit up I couldn't believe.
You know what I would love to do if I were the head of the Democratic National Committee? I would go to somebody who I think could also win the election, like Cuomo, and convince Biden that it would be in the best interest of the party to suddenly decide not to run, and they suddenly switch candidates. And Trump has spent all this time aiming at Biden. He isn't even nominated yet, but he's going after him. And that would just throw Trump off just completely. He wouldn't know what to do, you know. But it was, you know, it was a rant against Biden.
He's not worried.
You know, and what?
Trump originally said that he thought he was going to be running against Bernie. And then all of a sudden it was Biden. Remember when Bernie was doing well and Biden got the help in South Carolina by that congressman?
Yeah, well, I don't think Trump was really going after anybody until there was a presumptive nominee. You know, I mean, he did say bad things. He trashes everybody, no matter what he does. But he I think was not trashing. He was not trashing Biden or Bernie outside of saying things occasionally about them. But now if there's a presumptive candidate, that's the guy he's going after. But he's not the candidate yet. You know? He's just the presumptive candidate. So, I mean, but to say it's a press conference and to bill it that way and then to suddenly give a speech against all these various things that he's touting and trying to say what wonderful things he's done. At one point he said, we've had the highest employment rate ever. And I'm going, have you looked at it these days?
We did have the
highest. No. He kind of almost wants you to believe that it still is the highest.
You see, you know, the Democrats or the left want to believe that all the Republicans just fell off the turnip truck and believe the fact that this COVID unemployment level is permanent. And
a lot of it is permanent, Phil.
Some of it, but
not a lot of it.
For the most part, I think the economy is coming back, and so does most people.
No, it's not. You look at the stock market, it keeps bumping up and down.
Well, it always bumps up and down.
No, I mean bumping up. It's not been budging much. It's been actually trending downward.
Anybody who knows anything about economics is saying that this is not going to come back before the election is over. It's going to be about 18 months before the economy really completely rebounds.
Well, I don't know if it's going to completely rebound that fast. I mean,
and the stock market's not really the only indicator. I mean, there's
it's my $1,000.
But who cares about your $1,000? It has nothing to do.
It went up because
yeah, and mine's gone up, and now when you go over to my Sirius stock, it's taken a real dump. You know,
556 points today.
Yeah, and then it went down 600 yesterday.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I follow it every day, Phil.
Still over 1,000.
I fill it. What?
My value was still over 1,000. So. I don't think it went down that far. And if it did,
you look at it. Where was it? Where was it when it started tanking? Was it something like Dow was at 29,000?
Yeah, and now it's at 26.6.
Yeah, that's still a big dump.
Yeah, well, it went down to 18. I wish I would have bought more then.
Oh yeah, you're big in the stock market.
Yeah, well,
Phil, I don't have a lot of stock, but I've got a great deal more than you have.
Well, what I'm going to do now that I'm getting Social Security and my first check is going to arrive any day, or they're going to deposit into the account any day, I'll just take that and put it into the Dow fund that I bought.
Okay, good.
Until it stops working.
Yeah, because Trump is such a good businessman that the stock market's going to do terrific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it did terrific under was Obama.
Well, wasn't it down around 5,000 at the time Obama started?
No, it wasn't down around 5,000. It hasn't been down around 5,000 since I was a kid.
No, there was a time when it was
5,000, I think.
What?
Yeah.
Around 8,000 when George Bush left office.
And then it dropped.
It's gone down as low.
And what was it? What was it? Do you remember what it was once Obama left office?
You can Google that.
Or 18.
Yeah,
it was more than 18.
And you have to consider the next year at least part of the Obama bump. You know, it's not like all of a sudden Trump becomes president and whatever the stock does is his doing. You know.
Oh yeah.
So, but he takes no blame for anything, you know.
But he does take the credit, doesn't he?
You know,
he tries to take the credit.
He wore a mask, and they got on him for not being genuine. And then when he doesn't wear a mask, they get on him for not wearing a mask. He can't win.
Look, Phil, it doesn't matter what he does now. He has so fucked us up.
That's all because of him. He reaps what he sows. If he's disingenuous or people perceive it as such, it's because of the way that he carries himself and the things that he says and his actions. This is not made up. People watch this man.
Oh yes, they do.
But so you have to admit he really is about the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't say.
Well, I quite frankly think he should be charged with dereliction of duty.
Actually, I think.
Wait a minute. Rob was saying something.
I think people around him should be charged with dereliction of duty. It's just that, I've said this before. You talk about people who do bad things like Jerry Sandusky, who molested all those boys. It's one thing to be sick. It's another thing to cover it up.
Yeah.
I think that's worse.
What cover up?
What cover up? Are
Yeah.
you kidding? Really?
Oh, come on.
I just asked the question. What cover up? What did he cover up?
No, he's
We
talking
don't
about the-
know because we're people.
So we don't know what he
people-
covered it up, but
So-
he probably covered it up.
So when the Congress asks people, what do you call that? They tell people to go. What's the word? To go and testify, and they refuse. If they have nothing to cover up, why are they refusing?
Mm-hmm.
If they're subpoenaed, there's the word.
Beats me, but he didn't.
Phil,
If he had nothing to hide with his taxes,
do you agree with the following statement? Donald Trump is the law and order president.
He thinks he is.
Yeah, he thinks he is. Do you think he is?
In some ways, he's pro law and order. In other ways, I don't think so. No.
But he calls himself the law and order president.
Oh.
as long as it's not against him.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. If he's the law and order president, why did he pardon Roger Stone?
Yeah. What's that all about?
He didn't pardon him. He commuted his sentence.
Oh, commuted his sentence. Excuse me. I know. I understand, Phil. I made a mistake. I meant commuted.
Well, because he felt that it was unfair and a death sentence, and to send a guy that has those
His friend.
issues and his friend to prison. He felt that Stone was railroaded, and this will give Stone a chance to appeal his conviction. But Stone said that he'd end up with the same judge who was very anti-Stone and anti-Trump, so it may not be worth
Yeah,
it.
that's really terrible. But he was found guilty by a jury.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's still
And he was
still
found guilty of about 7 counts. Was it something like that?
Yep.
That hasn't changed.
Well, then why do you commute that sentence?
And why are you okay with that, Mr. Law and Order?
Well, I'm okay with the fact that the president has the right to commute anybody he wants. And
So he has the right to do whatever he wants, and that's okay.
He's given 11 pardons since he took office. Do you know that Obama gave over 1,700?
Doesn't matter.
And most of those were
It's Obama.
most of those were at the end of each term.
Right. So Trump has the balls.
Let's see how many people. Let's see how many people Trump pardons.
Trump has the balls, even facing re-election and knowing that he's going to get pushback on this, to do what he feels is right. He's not chicken and waiting for the last day.
Do what he's right.
Do what he feels is right.
How does he know that?
What do you mean? That's all he has to do is feel it.
He's not exactly the kind of right guy.
He has.
He changes
the
his mind
right.
every 3 days.
Your friend Donald Trump has the right to pardon whoever he wants, whenever he wants. That's part of the deal, and he hasn't abused it. Clinton pardoned a woman that had a 58-year sentence, and and he pardoned her. Didn't commute her sentence. He pardoned it. And now
music
she's
playing somewhere?
Is somebody playing music somewhere?
The piano?
You hear it?
Yeah.
No.
It stopped now.
The piano?
Yes.
It was my 4-year-old downstairs, I think.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's a long travel distance. Yeah.
Good piano.
Good microphone.
Did you know that Roger Stone and Trump and Roy Cohn were all buddies?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to throw that out there.
Not only buddies. He learned at the feet of Roy Cohn.
Roger Stone also kind of threatened Trump that I stayed. I could have all this stuff I could have told about you, and I didn't tell it.
That's not what he said. What he said was, I would not bear false witness against the president. That's what he said. They wanted him to lie, and he said, I won't. And so...
Because he's so moral. He's such a moral guy.
Yeah.
I guess he is when it comes to dealing with
He got convicted for lying. They
No,
don't
come on,
convict
man.
people
You
for
know
lying
this
if they
How,
don't
you know
have
this
it.
shit is
let me ask you a question though. How does Trump go to sleep at night knowing there are 135,000 dead people right now in this country under his watch?
Well, if Melania was sitting on my
No,
face,
come
it'd be
on,
great.
come on, Phil. I'm asking you a serious
Jesus.
question. That you do that when you don't want to answer the question.
Well, let me tell you, it's not Trump's fault that 135,000 people are dead. The whole world, there's only 9 countries out of 200 countries that don't have coronavirus issues.
Phil, do you know what happened in Italy? What happened in France? What happened in England? Wait a minute, let me finish. What happened in a lot of countries in Europe? It went up precipitously. They closed down, and then it went down as fast as it came up, and it stayed there. It has leveled at the bottom. Meanwhile, ours went up, and then it leveled a little bit because New York brought it down, and then it's gone up even further. Phil, don't say European countries. They did their job. They're safer now than they were then.
Alex, you're twisting things because we had some areas that were hotspots that went up. Now those areas have gone down, and other areas are going
Phil,
through their.
Don't minimize
How do you
it.
know?
Wait a minute. Let Brian join in here.
How do you know?
How do I know?
The leader doesn't talk about it. The leader pretends like it's not there. He says we're in a good shape. We're in a good place right now. That's bullshit.
It's a big country. And there are
Phil,
all of it, Phil, the good and the bad parts.
It's a big country, but something like 36 out of the 48 states have rises in incidents of COVID and deaths and so on. So that's not just some of the country is only having a problem.
Is it not the people that aren't wearing masks, that aren't social distancing, that aren't, that maybe.
And he should say something.
Well, then he should have been
nothing
wearing a
about it
mask a
during the-
long time ago as an example. He should have been urging people to wear masks. He didn't do that.
Even his
During
wife
today's
did
press
did a
conference,
tweet.
he should have been #1 subject, and he said nothing about it.
He can.
Exactly.
He can.
But Chuck Willery, MD, he knows.
Yeah, he goes and retweets that.
Yeah.
Chuck Willery, MD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chuck Woolery.
Oh, you're not aware of
Whole
Chuck
thing's
Woolery?
shit.
No.
Oh, Chuck Woolery, the host of Love Connection, and formerly of Wheel of Fortune,
And the new
and
Fauci.
also now the representative for some arthritis balm, wrote some tweets about how the whole coronavirus thing is a fake, and your dear friend and president, Donald Trump, retweeted them.
Probably made sense.
What?
Probably what?
We made sense at the time.
It was yesterday, Phil.
It was yesterday. It was yesterday,
The
Phil.
12th. The 12th.
Go read it.
All right. Hey,
The same guy that said a lot of white guys are getting killed too.
there's a lot of kids that are getting killed through the lawlessness in the streets due to
Keep talking, Phil. Keep talking.
Yeah,
There we go.
no, you got all of these democratic cities that want to defund the police, and now you got guys, running around shooting kids, 1-year-olds in Brooklyn. Okay with that?
They want to reorganize the police. Even though they keep saying defund, they mean reorganize.
Yeah, okay. So, send a social worker to a DUI.
No, that's not what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want, in Berkeley, they don't want cops making traffic stops. Yesterday, Berkeley City Councils voted no more traffic stops by police.
Yeah, but Berkeley's insane. We all know that.
By police.
I lived there for 20 years.
By police.
Berkeley.
Yeah, they don't want any more traffic stops by police. They want citizens.
Let me read.
Berkeley's the worst example.
Let me read to you what Chuck Woolery wrote as a tweet. Let me see here. Let me do this so that I can get this larger for my audience. There we go. All right. The most outrageous lies are the ones about COVID-19. Everyone is lying. The CDC, media, Democrats, our doctors, not all, but most that we are told to trust. I think it's all about the election and keeping the economy from coming back, which is about the election. I'm sick of it. That's Chuck Woolery, and it was retweeted by Donald Trump.
I agree.
World is
what
flat.
Chuck Woolery said. I think that the Democrats are trying to kill the economy,
And
you
the
sit
people.
there and you say, "Oh well, look at the unemployment. Look at the stock market." Well,
Republicans are
this
trying to
is
kill the
exactly what you want, and you're complicit in it, and you're
How
cheering.
about all the
on.
people who are dying, Phil? How
Well,
about all the hospitals
and
that
you're
are filled
letting
up?
them-
Phil,
die.
I say there are 135
How,
people in
how?
America dead as a result of this virus, Phil. And this guy goes to sleep at night and can sleep knowing that on his watch, in his watch of protecting Americans, 135 people are dead now because of his inaction and his dereliction of duty.
Well, I don't believe that it's his.
I know
inaction.
you don't, but
That's the dereliction of
but it is.
Yeah, it's the Democrats who are in power right now, right? The Democrats are in power, so they've caused all this. They're all powerful. They're more powerful than the president
Majority-
who sits in the White
The
House.
CDC doesn't know what they're talking about. Dr. Fauci is to be discredited.
There is a new
Fauci has
There's a new
one
true
track
north. It's
mind.
called Donald Trump. Everything else that we've been taught, everything else we've learned is all askew now. It's all a lie. There's a new true north, and his name is Donald Trump.
That works for me.
But Phil, come
The
on.
whole world. The CDC
Hitler.
is fucked up. The FBI
all those
is
5G
fucked
powers.
up.
I
The
like what
CIA
Chuck
is
Woolery
fucked
said.
up.
I agree
Everything's
with
fucked
him.
up.
And I
Just
think he has-
one man.
I think
Valerie,
that's
Do you
the
think
ball-
you think this whole
Vladimir Putin's
COVID thing is a hoax then?
It's a hoax.
I think that the way the Democrats are playing it, it's a hoax. They're taking a catastrophe and they're trying to use it to their political advantage.
Ow.
Phil,
You're a bunch of idiots who are opening up states because they
But
believe
doing
the
it-
bullshit they're being told by their leader.
Phil,
For
let
political
me
advantage.
say
Own
this.
it.
Let me say something here. None of us, no matter how much to the left we are, would be saying any of these things if we felt this president was doing something.
I think.
Okay, well, let me finish, Phil, please. If we felt that he was doing something, more than anything, we would love to have him surprise us at the ability he had to rally this country and to solve this problem. But he didn't do it. It's not that we wanted him to do that. It's not that we wanted it because he would lose an election or because the economy would go down. We did none of those things, Phil. We wanted him to succeed more than anything because our lives depended on it, and he let us down. Yes, Rob.
So back in 2001, after 9/11, this was a pretty divided country. Lots of people didn't like W, right? There was a very divided country then as well. 9/11 happened. We had a major catastrophe. George Bush did a great job of uniting Americans.
Right.
I
He
couldn't stand
united
W.
all of us. He united, and I couldn't stand him either. He united all of us. He was our president. We
That's
have a
right.
bigger crisis now with 135,000 people and counting dead. And this guy has done nothing to unite Americans. Just under one thing, please wear a mask. That's a simple thing. Why couldn't he?
W stood up there. W stood up there and actually made me proud.
Exactly, I agree.
And it's that was a big thing. I couldn't stand him.
This is a different time, a different person, and he is who
That's
he
right. You're right.
He
You're
was
right. A
president
different
of the
time
United
and a different
States.
person.
He was duly elected, and this is the way he operates. If you
And
don't,
this is
like
what we
him
got.
and
No,
don't-
he wasn't duly elected. He was helped by the Russians. Okay, Phil?
bullshit, he was helped by the Russians.
Duly elected or not, this is what we got, and this is what we're reaping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Charlie, you haven't said anything tonight. Anything you want to put in here? Because I'm sure you're seething.
Yeah, I've shouted out a couple of things, but I guess I got buried in there.
Pathetic.
Well, then say what you got to say.
Trump has no policy that he's pushed. At least George Bush pushed a policy and stood by it, and like you said, united the people.
Charlie, George
Trump
Bush
has been
policy
dividing the
was
people.
that Saddam Hussein had WMDs, and we went in there and started a 19-year war. That's what.
That's not what they're talking about. We're talking about his initial bringing of the country together during a time of 9/11.
Well,
He
then
also-
Trump is a better track on doing the right thing.
Oh,
Just the opposite.
just the opposite.
But no matter what he does, you wouldn't be happy
No,
with it.
Phil, I would be
Oh,
happy.
not true.
If
That's
He's
true.
done a couple things the last couple of days that I like, and I was, yeah. I mean, he's not going to push for the Dreamers to get kicked out anymore. Apparently, right on. I was like, right on, Trump. If he would do things that make sense, I'm all for it.
You know, he tried to do that when he wanted.
Phil, he didn't know how to bring a country together to solve this problem. It could have been solved earlier. It could have been nipped in the bud earlier if the federal government had been on the spot. I am so fortunate. I am so lucky that I live in New York State, where I've got a governor who took the bull by the horns once he took the bull by the horns and quelched this thing to where we were the most infected city in the world, Phil, and now we're the least infected.
Well, don't count your chickens before they hatch, because it can turn on New
It
York.
can
just like it
absolutely,
turned on
and we are
Texas
ever
before.
vigilant about that, Phil. And we are afraid that because the rest of the country is getting infected, that we're going to get infected. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, and I also believe that if anything did happen and they started getting another spike, that Cuomo would do something about it. Greg Abbott is not doing shit about it. He's just sitting there letting it all happen. It's just running rampant. Every fucking hospital in Texas is full. You get sick with something, you got to sit around and wait for a bed to open up. And he's not doing shit.
Phil, on Saturday, we had zero deaths in New York City. Today, yesterday, we had 5 deaths in the entire state.
Mm-hmm.
That's down from 800, Phil. Somebody knew what he was doing.
He was smart. He saved our life.
He saved
Couldn't have
our
been a
lives.
Democrat.
Huh?
Couldn't have been a Democrat that knew what he was doing.
No.
If it wasn't him.
Oh, he made sure of that during the speech.
You know.
To ignore a lot of things that he did do that killed a lot of people. 1/3 of all of the deaths in New York were in assisted care facilities.
Wrong.
Yes.
Wrong. Absolutely,
6,000.
absolutely wrong, Phil.
6,000.
There were more. There were something like 30,000 people that died in the state of New York. That isn't a third.
All right, so
Well, Phil, you're lying. That isn't a third.
it's not lying; it's math.
It's bad math.
6,000 people.
20%.
1,000 people died because of Cuomo's actions.
No, not because of Cuomo's actions. Because of what the government suggested we do.
No, they didn't. Never.
Yes, they did. The
Yes, they
CDC
did.
had recommendations on how to handle the nursing homes, and for a time, our governor abided by that. And then when he saw that it was all wrong, he changed his tune. And now, virtually maybe a handful every day of the deaths. If there were 5 deaths in this state, maybe one of them was in an assisted living home.
I saw the video where he said that when the homes didn't want the people in, he says, you're going to take them, and if you don't take them, we're going to...
No, that is not what went on, Phil. You've got the story all wrong. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, when we closed down the schools, we were having 20,000 infections a day nationwide. Now we're having 60,000 infections a day, and they're demanding that we open up the schools. What kind of fucking sense does that make? 3 times
According
more.
to the CDC, they say that the children in the schools not only don't spread it, but don't get it.
CDC does
But
not.
they do. But they do bring it. They do bring it home.
No,
Phil, if you've ever had a kid, and I think you've had a kid, how many cooties did they bring home from school?
Well, they're saying this virus. That's
Yeah.
not,
Okay, Phil. Jeff, say something, Jeff.
California, all the kids in California do not go to school this year. They do it at home. That's a dream.
Orange
Now,
County.
what has the president said about that?
Orange County. There was two.
Nothing.
Orange
Nothing.
County is Republican and Trump dick suckers.
No, now San Diego and L.A. are keeping their schools closed. Orange County has said that they're going to.
Yes,
send
Orange
kids-
County. That's where you have John Wayne Airport, for
Republicans.
Christ's sake.
Yep.
Okay, it's just that there's only 3 counties right now that is dealing with this, and the 3 happen
Phil,
to be
what
San
happened? You
Diego,
had Betsy
LA,
DeVos go on the morning show, the Sunday morning shows the other day, and she said we want all these schools have to open up, and then she gave no plan of how they were going to do it. No
She's the
plan.
devil.
She was asked, and she couldn't come up
Open
with a
up,
plan.
No
Has
fun
a
or
plan
no
now.
fun.
She just wasn't prepared for
No,
it.
the problem is the Trump administration has never had a plan for anything.
Nope.
They're just getting back to school.
CDC that has the plan.
What?
The CDC has the plan, and they're the ones that the Trump administration and the federal government are allowing
Oh,
to.
quite the opposite. Today, Trump said he didn't believe what the CDC was saying, and that it was too extensive or something like that.
Right, they wanted.
He doesn't agree with the
Yeah, so
CDC.
he's not
If
letting-
if the CDC doesn't follow his lead, he doesn't believe in the plan.
Well, based on the science, it seems as though the kids didn't need as much as the CDC recommended.
Phil, I know parents that say, I don't care what the president says, I ain't sending my kid to school until the
they
coast
have
is
to-
clear.
they don't
Yes,
have to.
Kevin.
I'm just raising my hand because I'm one of them.
Yeah, you're not, no matter what
My
happens.
15-year-old daughter looked at the TV and said, "Who is this bitch?" when she saw Betsy DeVos in there.
Me too.
Wouldn't have
I could
Tupperware
care less what
in
Trump
her.
and DeVos say. I listen to Fauci.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they asked her, how are you going to keep the kids safe if they go back to school? And she had no fucking answer to that.
So that's what she said. I'm not going back on with no plan. There's nothing. She's not.
Teachers don't
She's
wanna
15 years old. She doesn't listen to all this stuff all day long.
The teachers union strong. They're not going to let them ride that out.
No,
That's the
How are we
states where
supposed to
there's
go
a
back?
union.
it's
They
going to be
get
it's going to be
paid.
one thing to force the schools to open. It's going to be another for parents to send their kids to those schools.
The public school.
Brian, how about your kid?
Still
No,
get paid.
and especially with the age going down, right? You know, this median age that they're looking at of catching it is going down into the 40s. I mean, I don't want to get sick either.
Yeah.
They
You
may
know-
not be having terrible symptoms, but they're having lung and organ damage.
Right.
Whether they feel bad or not, they're having the damage that's going to affect them for the whole rest of their lives.
That's right.
You know, I have to say something. I
You really have to say something? You've been so quiet all night.
Well, I really appreciate the fact that Alex and you guys have conversations with me and don't tell me to shut up. There's a moron on the chat that can't say anything but
Not
shut
fresh.
up.
Well, yeah.
The thing is that is a suppression of speech. It's the suppression.
No,
of
it's
First
not.
Amendment.
Yeah, it would be.
First
Wait a
Amendment.
minute, but it's his opinion, and that's freedom of speech.
Fuck his opinion. The thing is,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that
yeah.
the left is trying to do to the right.
No, I
by
see. Yeah,
Trying to
yeah.
shut them up.
You really represent the right. Yes. Jeff has something he wants to say.
Phil, you get to speak quite often, more often than anybody else here. So cut it out.
Okay, good for you. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Tell
saying-
that guy to call in.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell that guy to call in and tell you to
Right,
shut
that-
up in your face.
No, I'm saying that you guys are respectful of the fact that I have a different opinion.
Oh, very respectful.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. You're living in a delusional
I have
world,
no
Phil. We have
respect
no
for you.
respect for
But-
your opinion.
But you listen. You let me talk.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Okay. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. That's it for tonight. Thank you very much, Charlie Wallace. Thank you very much to Rob. Thanks to Ray Bernardi. Thanks to Phil Meyer, Jeff Stein, Tony, Brian Neary, and Kevin Stopper. Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give you a big wave goodbye back. Oh, boy. That's it. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. And there's another one coming up next on the next show coming up, which is, of course, the intersection with Jack Bishop. He'll be here next. We'll be here again tomorrow night at 10:30. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, stay safe. And no matter what the president tells you, wear a mask. Good night, everybody.